wildfires, San Diego's like an island, just like this island here in my kitchen. To the west, we've got the Pacific Ocean. Oh, well, just like this pitcher of water here, the Pacific Ocean. We're not going to get any help from wildfire here. And then down to the south, we've got Mexico. Well, kind of like this beautiful plate here from Mexico. Foreign country. We're not going to get much help from them. And over here to the east, we have the desert. We're not going to get any help from the desert. And up here to the north, we've got Los Angeles and Orange County. If they're experiencing a major wildfire due to the Santa Ana conditions, just like we have down here in San Diego, they're not going to have the resources to come down here and protect us because their equipment, their fire engines, are going to be protecting their own region. They're not going to be able to send equipment down here to San Diego. So when it comes to a major wildfire, San Diego is like an island. We have to protect ourselves.
In San Diego, we live in an island paradise. Great beaches, great weather. But what happened in 2003? We had the largest wildfire in the history of the state of California. Mother Nature has given us some unusual elements. Strong Santa Ana winds, rough terrain, heavy brush on those hills, and arid conditions. That Cedar Fire burnt over 3,000 homes, cost 15 lives, and it did not discriminate. What we lost was the fire station right here in Harbison Canyon, burnt to the ground. Though the fire trucks were out, all the equipment inside was lost. The San Diego Regional Fire Foundation played a major role in providing grant money to replace much of that equipment. So this station is back in operation today.
I grew up in Escondido. My businesses are in Escondido, and I've been very active in the region with Lead San Diego, the San Diego Foundation, and the Economic Development Corporation. I love this entire area. Escondido is my home. You would never think fires in our backcountry would affect a city like Escondido, but I can tell you it can, and it did. This is the backcountry where the 2007 fire started. They raged all the way to the city of Escondido where our home was burned to the ground. Fortunately, we have been able to rebuild, but we know the fury and the power of a wildfire. We never ever thought it would happen to us. It could happen to anyone. It could happen to you.
During the 2007 wildfires that hit San Diego County, the San Pasqual Volunteer Fire Department lost their fire engine when a bridge collapsed as they were responding to protect homes. The San Diego Regional Fire Foundation came to the rescue, providing a grant of $250,000 to purchase this brand new fire truck. Though we have bought 4 fire engines and 2 ambulances over the years, most of what we do is to supply day-to-day equipment that the fire departments need to do their job. The stuff that gets used up every day as they're responding to emergencies. That can be the protective clothing the firefighters wear, it could be fire hose used to fight fires, and jaws of life that are used on rescue calls. All of this equipment needs to get replaced every several years as it wears out from heavy use.
San Diego County has more than 600 emergency calls every day. Most of these calls are in our urban areas, but in our rural areas, our backcountry, there are 6,000 emergency calls each year. The first responders to these emergencies are firefighters from one of the 27 rural fire stations that have volunteer firefighters. These 27 volunteer fire stations cover 60% of San Diego County's geographical area, all the way from Fallbrook in the north, Palomar Mountain and Borrego Springs to the northeast, east, Julian and Mount Laguna, and Campo, south, down near the Mexican border.
Back in '96, I started this department out of nothing. We had to use surplus equipment like this. We collected cans and bottles just to pay for such items as tires and fuel. Our equipment was surplus that we funded to swap meets. We needed help. We needed equipment to save homes, to save lives, and to do our job. The San Diego Regional Fire Foundation helped us with funding to buy the equipment we needed. Equipment like chainsaws, portable generators, rescue saws, hand tools, hoses, portable pumps, and most importantly, communication devices.
This is the Mount Laguna Volunteer Fire Department, and we're located in the beautiful Cleveland National Forest. And as such, you'd think that our job is to put out forest fires. And we do that, but we do much more. Over 80% of our calls happen to be medical and sometimes rescue. Now we're at the back of our medical rescue rig. We have our jaws of life here. This happens to be a pair of our spreaders. This is our cutters. And this is what we would use to cut you out of a vehicle if we couldn't get you out through a regular means, like opening the door. And this may look like a traffic cone to you, but this is how we keep the scene safe. We set these up to protect the scene, to protect you, so we can do the job of rescuing you. And if it's a different kind of rescue, let's say a horseback riding accident or a bicycle accident, and you're 3 or 4 miles into the forest, we would put you on a backboard in this basket. We call it a Stokes basket. And then we would go ahead and make sure that you had sufficient oxygen by giving you oxygen if you needed it, taking your pulse, making sure that we could check your blood pressure, and in worst case scenario for someone, and it may not be that accident, but some other time of day or night, this is our AED unit, and this is what we would do to help with CPR. These are all the tools that we need for the job to help you. And who helps us is the San Diego Regional Fire Foundation.
You might be surprised to learn that of the 6,000 emergency calls received each year by our rural fire stations, more than 80% are medical emergencies. You would think most emergencies would be fire-related, but they're not. They're medical. And the overwhelming majority of rural emergencies are for people who live elsewhere and are just visiting the area. They may be enjoying backcountry outdoor activities, a weekend getaway, or perhaps just traveling through the area. And what about the 10% of emergency calls that are fire-related? It's the volunteer firefighters who are our first line of defense in an effort to keep those fires small and contained before they become firestorms.
In San Diego, we're fortunate to have a partnership between the cities, the county, CAL FIRE, and the private sector to be able to assist our firefighters in having the best available equipment for fighting wildfires. The San Diego Regional Fire Foundation makes a difference in raising funds to help us to get the needed equipment and to close the gap that's there between the funds that are available and what we need. They deserve all of our support.
The San Diego Regional Fire Foundation was formed in 1989 with a mission to strengthen the system of fire and emergency services in San Diego County. We provide grants to fire departments to help them purchase equipment and to provide training. The total amount of our grants since 1989 is now more than $4 million. Fire stations receive most of their funding from property taxes. The problem is there are not enough people living in the rural areas as there are in the urban areas. And as a result, not enough taxes are collected to fully fund the 27 rural fire stations. That's where we come in, the San Diego Regional Fire Foundation, to provide additional funding for the equipment and training our volunteer firefighters need.
One of my favorite themes is community before self. So what does that mean to most people? Well, to me, when we're talking about fires, San Diego County, the community is all of San Diego County. How can we better prevent and fight fires? And that's, of course, exactly what the San Diego Regional Fire Foundation is doing. So at the end of the day, how does this theme of community before self, what does that mean to fighting fires in San Diego County? Well, the San Diego Regional Fire Foundation is typical of what this theme is all about. They're raising money to buy equipment, to bring forces together so that they can be more efficient, more effective in putting fires out. To me, that's the epitome of community before self.
Recently, we facilitated a needs assessment study for our 27 volunteer fire stations to find out what they need to do their job. They said they need $26 million during the next 5 years to do their job effectively. Money for fire engines, ambulances and rescue vehicles, hoses, specialized firefighting equipment, replacing medical supplies, training, keeping up with new firefighting technology, and facility upgrades. To do their job effectively, they need $5 million every year for the next 5 years. The San Diego County Fire Authority annually provides about $4 million of that $5 million, and this takes care of purchasing the big-ticket items. To help close this gap, the San Diego Regional Fire Foundation provides annual grants of about $200,000, leaving $800,000 needed each year to meet the needs of our volunteer fire stations. They need our support and yours to ensure that they have the equipment and training they need to do their job to keep you and your family safe. So when it comes to major wildfires, San Diego County is like an island. We need to protect ourselves. And the San Diego Regional Fire Foundation provides the funding for fire departments to get the training and purchase the equipment that they need to do their job and to protect you.